Hi, my name is Rachel. What's up? How are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, well, it's not really today because I'm going to film it over a couple of days. This video is about me finishing the series on my series tracker list, which I have a whole video on. I will link in the card and down below. But I'm trying to make 2025 the year that I finish these damn series. So without further ado, in this video, I'm finishing a series right now. I'm going to do it right now. And that series is, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, Tokyo Ghoul by Sue Ishida. So I have 5 volumes left in this manga series, but it's manga. We should fly through it. It's pictures, it's dialogue. There's not really a lot of exposition. It's short, it's quick, it's speedy. What has been my excuse for not getting to it for so long? I don't have one. I just suck. So if you don't know, Tokyo Ghoul is the story of a boy. This is the story of a boy. Went to dinner with a girl and got an organ donated, and then he turned into a ghoul. This is the story of a boy named Ken Kaneki, and he's a human, and he has a crush on this girl that he always sees at this local coffee shop, and then one day he finally gets a date with her. They go on a date, and there's a terrible accident, and he ends up in the hospital, and he needs an organ transplant. And weird things start happening to him. He's suddenly like craving blood and meat. And he's like, what the fuck? Turns out he got a ghoul organ donated to his body. And his body has like absorbed and accepted this organ. And now he is half ghoul and half human. You know what I'm saying? This whole series really focuses on the juxtaposition between humanity, monstrosity, what's right, what is wrong. Can these two things commingle? Can you be right? Can you be wrong at the same time? Can you be a human and still be monstrous? Can you be a monster and still have some humanity? I've never watched the anime, but I love the manga. I have 5 volumes left. There's only 14. I have to read 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And I really love how the story has progressed because obviously it starts off with what I told you. And then there's a lot of things that kind of take shape from there, and you learn about opposing forces to the ghouls, which are these ghoul investigators. And it's about this journey of Ken Kaneki trying to decide, like, do I really try to focus on my humanity and like shun this other part of me that exists now, or do I just fully lean into this monstrosity that I've become and like say like fuck off to my humanity? Or can I find a coexistence between them? Can ghouls and humans actually get along? Could they exist together peacefully? So it's very interesting because there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of fight scenes, and at the same time there's also a lot of nuance and like thematic discussions, like I said, of humanity and etc etc. So my mission in this vlog is to finish this series, finally get it off of my tracker, and also just find out what happens because I've been in limbo. I've been in limbo for so long and I need to know. It's funny because I actually read the first 9 volumes like back to back like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I was working at, that's a lie, 5 or 6 years ago when I was working at the library before I gave birth to my son. And then, you know, like COVID hit and everything, and I had to leave my job for medical reasons, and then COVID, like I couldn't go back. So I never like went back to the library, and then I kind of like started reading other things, etc. So I forgot that I was in the middle of this manga series. So now I've reread the first 9 over the last 10 months, I think. And I'm ready. I am ready to commit to these final 5 volumes. Without further ado, let's go read volume 10. Okay, hello. It's been 2 days since I filmed the intro to this. I'm about to start, I just hit myself. I'm about to start volume 10 of this. And I'm about to watch some Patreon reading sprints. I think my husband is coming home from work early today, which would be great because that means I don't have to put a bra on and go outside in the heat to get my kid off the bus. I'm just having one of those days where like I don't want to put clothes on. I just want to be a bum in my pajamas. Capitalism is the bad guy, don't forget. Let me actually just like set you down 1 second. Okay, absolutely god-awful angle, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm just in one of those moods where like I don't really want to get dressed today. I just want to read. Actually, it's already noon. It's 12 p.m. I could have been reading all morning, but this morning I ordered a couple extra groceries, so we had stuff for dinner for the next 2 days, and then I emptied the dishwasher, tidied up the kitchen, put the groceries away, rearranged my to-do list, like rearranged my content planner a little bit. So like I've been like doing things, but mostly I've just been like doing things that don't involve cleaning. I do need to clean some stuff, but I don't want to do it today. I'm gonna try to make myself do it tomorrow because I'm gonna do some sprints on Thursday, and hopefully I can get through at least 1.5 volumes of this today, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. And then Thursday during sprints, I'm really hoping to just bang them out, you know what I'm saying? Gavin's sprints are about to start, so I'm gonna go. I'll catch up with you later. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on June 10th. It has been probably a week since I've talked to you or updated you about anything. So today's Monday. Not this weekend that we just had, but last weekend my son got sick. He like randomly was throwing up like Friday night and Saturday night. Sunday he was fine, so Monday he went to school. But yeah, Monday and Tuesday he was fine until Tuesday afternoon. My poor son was straight up pissing out of his ass. Like, poor kid was going through it. His stomach was hurting. He was not feeling good. So he stayed home almost all of last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I also got what he had. Around Friday night, I started to not feel great. Saturday morning, it all went to shit. And yeah, so it turns out we both had like a stomach flu. So it's been a while since I've talked to you. And on top of that, I've just been like really in a weird headspace because we're moving next Wednesday. So about 9 days from now. Also, I did just tell you it was Monday. I lied. It's Tuesday. So about 9 days from now, 8 days from now, we are moving to Tennessee. And I'm not really excited for that. But, you know, it is what it is. Our entire house is in boxes. Like, literally everything we own is in boxes. With the exception of, like, our couch, this table. We have our beds tonight. But tomorrow, movers are coming to take our beds. And so that's not fun. We will be sleeping on air mattresses for the next... Well, we'll have it tonight, so I think 7 days we'll be sleeping on air mattresses. Yeah, so on the 18th, we're driving to an Airbnb in Knoxville, and we're gonna stay there for 2 days, and I think we're gonna try to go to the Knoxville Zoo, and I'm pretty sure that, I don't know if you can pet the otters, but they have like an otter encounter thing listed on their website. If I get to pet an otter or like at least be close to a handler who is holding the otter, I'm gonna lose my shit. I fucking love otters. You don't understand. They're so cute. So that's like something I have to look forward to, is like the possibility of being really close to an otter and like watching it be adorable, or like possibly touching it. I don't know. But I'm in a blanket on the couch because I'm freezing. My hair looks like shit. Do you want to know why? Because yesterday the Packers were here and I'm stupid and I forgot to have them, like, I forgot to take my hairbrush and like put it with my stuff that we're taking with us. So I don't know where my hairbrush is. It's in a box somewhere and we can't open the boxes. They're sealed shut and like labeled. They're like tamper proof, so that way if anything breaks in the box, like they know that we didn't fuck with it. It's like, you know, they would be responsible and like have to replace it or whatever. So we can't open the boxes. So we can't open the boxes and get my hairbrush. So I'm gonna have to have my husband go get me one today because I'm not going outside like this. I know you probably think it's not that bad, but like it's all tangled and knotty and like it's so frizzy and I need to wash it, but I can't wash my hair if I can't brush it after. Like my hair is way too thick for that. I absolutely need to brush my hair after I wash it when it's wet. So we're struggling. So in an interesting development, our neighbors moved. We knew that they were moving. They're also in the Navy. And our kids were friends. It was like Riley's first ever like best friend was next door. And they literally moved without telling us. They straight up packed their shit, left that house, and didn't tell us. So my son never got to say goodbye, and he's been crying for like the last like couple months on and off. He'll randomly cry and be like, I'm gonna miss my neighbor so much. I'm gonna miss him so much. Like, he's my best friend. I love him. And yeah, so I'm really pissed. Like, fuck you, bitch. You should have let our kids say goodbye. That's kind of fucked up. Like, not only for my son, but also for her kids. You didn't want your kids to say bye to their friends? Like, that's kind of wild. I would have never left here without letting Riley say goodbye to his friend, you know? But that's just me. I don't know. Anyways, I'm diddle-dallying. I'm rambling. I haven't updated you in a while, so I'm rusty. But I'm about, I don't know, 36% into Tokyo Ghoul Volume 11. I think Volume 10 was really good towards the end as far as like continuing the plot. The beginning felt a little disjointed because I remembered how Volume 9 ended. Like, I didn't read it like that long ago, but I mean, it has been a little while, but it was close enough, and I've read it twice. That's the second time I've read it, so I remembered specifically like how it ended. And I feel like the beginning of Volume 10 was just a little disjointed, and the pacing also felt a little bit off in the beginning. But by the end, again, it did kind of like, you know, the pacing was kind of like more on par with what I would expect, and the plot kind of like picked up in a way that made sense and, you know, intrigued me, gauged my interest. And Volume 11 has started off pretty strong. I haven't read in probably the last like 3 days because just of stress. I've just been stressed about this move, and I've been doom scrolling. I have been so, if we were to look at my screen time right now, I don't even want to look, but I'm sure it's like averaging 9 hours a day at this point because I've just been doom scrolling during the day and not reading and not doing anything. But today that changes. So the Packers came yesterday and the movers are coming tomorrow. So today is like my last day of like having a couch and having a real bed. So I want to take full advantage of that and be a bum, do absolutely nothing. Actually, no, they're not taking our couch. I lied. I think my husband is going to have the couch picked up by the trash like right before we leave, because to be perfectly honest, the cats, as much as I love them and miss them, they absolutely did destroy a lot of our furniture, and the couch is one of them. So the couch is a little bit destroyed on the side, and this is not entirely their fault. My son likes to jump on the couch, so a couple of the springs are broken. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but when he was like 3, he was a big couch jumping bean. So it's like it's very uncomfortable now. So we're getting rid of it, and we're gonna get a new one at the new house, which is exciting. But yeah, so today's my last day that I'm gonna have a real bed at least. And I want to take advantage of it. I want to lay in bed and read. I want to sit on the couch and read. I'm not going to put on real clothes. I have on my Christmas pajama pants, the same shirt I wore yesterday. I will be going out to the bus looking like this to get Riley later. It's about to start raining. It's very dark and gloomy outside, which is perfect reading weather. I might have a bath actually. No, because I really want to wash my hair and I can't. Well, I could have a bath now, have my husband get me a hairbrush, and then shower later. That could be an idea. I also need to run some laundry later. It's a small load, but I need to do it because tomorrow I'm pretty sure they're also taking the washer and dryer. So we're not going to have a washer and dryer anymore, which is kind of sad. I really wish we could just get a new one at the new house and leave these ones here because I don't want to have to go to a laundromat. But it is what it is. There's a washer and dryer at the Airbnb, which is actually so nice. I'm definitely gonna have to bring laundry with us and do a load or two of laundry there, which will be nice because then maybe we can like stretch it to where we only have to go to the laundromat one time. We do kind of have a lot of laundry because of my son is messy and he was sick and like shitting his pants a lot last week. So I'm really glad we, you know, still had the washer and dryer at that point in time. I'm drinking iced coffee out of out of a paper cup. Actually, I think it's styrofoam. I don't even know. This is probably terrible for the planet. I'm so sorry. I'm moving and I don't have any real cups anymore. It's only temporary. I don't do this all the time. But it has this really fancy lid where you slide the lid shut, which I think is so cool because, you know, like you go to a coffee shop and you get the one where it like peels up and then you go to drink out of it and it fucking like pokes you in the nose. I hate those. And this one is so fancy. Technologica, you know what I'm saying? So this was a super long update. I'm gonna go upstairs and possibly read in bed for a little bit. I'm gonna set up like the pillows so I can like be comfy and maybe open the curtains because it's about to start raining. And I'm gonna try to bang out the rest of volume 11 and then we'll see how I feel after that. And then maybe I'll take a bath and start volume 12. Today, I really wanna try to get at least volume 11 and volume 12 done, like done today, because I'm probably not gonna be able to read a lot tomorrow because people are gonna be literally in my house all day, like packing a truck full of my shit. All right, I've just finished volume 12 and I can't lie, it's losing me a little bit. I'm kind of just excited for it to be over at this point. The way that volume 12 ended, I think it really set up volume 13 to be like this massive clash, but we're just getting so much POV from like the ghoul investigator side, and to be perfectly honest, like I don't even really care about them, and it's like they're the humans and they're the good guys and we're like supposed to root for them, I think, but like I don't really care about them. I just want to see the ghouls. And there was a point where Kaneki kind of like is acting very out of character, and I think they were supposed to be like trying to represent this like downward spiral of his mental health as his ghoul side takes over, but like they didn't really do it in a good way where it was like a slow gradual like descent into like madness. It just kind of like happened. It was just like all of a sudden he was just crazy, and I think like it just felt really disjointed. And now he's like kind of like back down to earth a little bit, and I think trying to reconcile with himself and like make amends for the way that he was acting, but it's just not like hitting in a good way. Like I'm not really super engaged by it. At this point I'm just reading to get it over with, which is really such a shame because the first like 8 volumes are so good, and then I think volume 9 is kind of where it starts to get like a little too heavy on the ghoul investigator side. I didn't mind when we were only getting like a little bit of snippets from them, because it did kind of showcase that like even though you're following the ghoul side, like they are technically the bad guys, and it like just having a few moments of the investigators I think helped highlight like, hey, don't forget you're actually not following the good guys even though you're rooting for them. But it's just like a little too heavy on the ghoul investigator side at this point, because I just don't care about them. Like they're boring, and the only guy that was like interesting on the ghoul investigator side like died a couple volumes ago, and I'm like, he was the only interesting one and you killed him. What? Not from out here, I can't. No, and I don't want to. Riley Michael. Probably. Did you wipe your butt good? Yeah. Okay. And did you wash your hands? Well, go wash them. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. And I'm like, I could just DNF the series, but I only have 2 left, and like they're quick to get through. I just haven't been wanting to pick it up, but when I finally am like, okay, fine, let me just pick it up, I can like fly through the whole thing in like an hour and a half. So it's really not taking me that long. I just need to focus. Yeah, so if I were to just focus and like sit down and just try to bang them out, I probably could have finished them all in like 2 days, but I've literally been trying to finish this series since June 1st. And it's the 14th today, and yeah, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm not hating it, don't get me wrong, like I'm not hating it. I just think that it was so much more exciting at the beginning, and I know where the story's gonna go. Like I feel like I can tell where the story's gonna go, or at least I have an idea, and I don't hate the idea of like what I think the ending's gonna be, but I wish like this second half of the like plot kind of just was maybe paced differently, or like I said, if it did a better job of showing that slow descent into madness and then allowed Kaneki to have this like moment where he realizes like, what have I done, you know? But he never really got that, so it kind of like lacked in the character development aspect, and I feel like it's just focused on a lot of the fighting, and then the ghoul investigators are like just chatting a lot about shit. They're just like, oh, we have to do this, we have to do this, and it's giving me like bios about random ghoul investigators that we just met for the first time in volume 12, and I'm like, at this point I don't care about who this person is. I don't even want to know their name. You could just say investigator and call it a day. But yeah, I'm hoping that because of the way volume 12 just ended, there was kind of like a shift again in Kaneki, that I'm really hoping like at least the last 2 volumes I'll like a little bit more. I've been giving them, I gave volume 11 like a 3.25 stars. I'm probably gonna give volume 12 a 3, like, it's not bad. Again, like I said, I'm not hating it. It's not bad. I'm just also not obsessed like I was at the beginning of this series. So I'm probably not gonna update you again until I finish. And today's Saturday, so I really hope I can finish them by tomorrow night, because we are leaving on Wednesday to drive to our new house, and I would love to start a new book for the road trip and not have to worry about reading Tokyo Ghoul anymore. But they're short. I'm gonna go start volume 13 now, so maybe I'll be able to update you later tonight or tomorrow afternoon and say I'm done. You're dragging your dad's dead body across the carpet. In the killing chair? Oh my god. Healing chair. Okay, healing. Understandable. Okay, I finished Tokyo Ghoul volume 14, which means I have officially finished the whole series. I'm so excited. I'm finally done. However, I think as a series, like as a whole, I'll give it like a 3.5 stars. I do definitely prefer the first like 7 volumes, and then I feel like 8 and 9 are still good, but that's where it really starts leaning into the like ghoul investigator side of things. And I think I could have liked it more if there were like 2 or 3 investigators that were just like always there, and it was just like those 3 POVs the entire time, because we get one first and then he ends up dying, and then there's like a couple of other ones that come after him. But in these last 3 volumes that I just read, they're introducing me to new characters like as the plot is concluding. I'm like, I don't give a flying fuck about these random investigators. And then we start getting POV from like these side investigators who have had no purpose whatsoever this entire time. And I feel like it could have been done better if we just stuck with those 3 POVs, and then like, I'm not saying for them to not die, but if the 3 main ones that we kind of get introduced to at the beginning kind of like stuck around like longer to like maybe get you invested in the investigator side of things, because obviously the investigators are like the good guys, but we follow the ghouls in the beginning, so it's set up for like you to not like them. And I think like by the end, like you're really supposed to be like towing the line of like, I should actually be rooting for the investigators, and you know, kind of grappling with yourself the way that Kaneki grapples with himself throughout the series a lot, where he's like, do I lean into my humanity or do I let the ghoul side take over? Like, I feel like as a reader that should have also been our same like conundrum, but the way that the ghoul investigator side is presented to us, like I just could not care about them. And it's like, it sucks because right at the end there were like a few inklings of things that kind of happened in the investigator chapters where I was like, okay, cool, like I could have gotten behind some of these investigator plot lines if they had been just integrated sooner, or I don't know, expanded upon. Like, I won't spoil anything specifically, but there was like an inkling of a romance between 2 of the investigators that I actually kind of liked, but there literally nothing comes of it. And then there was another investigator who at one point they're all asked to basically write their last will and testament, because if they go off to have this battle, they could all die. And the investigator is like, what do you mean I have to write like a will? Like, are you saying I'm gonna die? And they're like, well, we're not saying it's going to happen, but it's definitely a possibility. And he kind of has this moment where he's like spiraling about it, because he's like, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And I feel like he's regretting his like career path and like the choices that led him to this moment, you know? And that would have been cool to explore as a theme as well. I just think that a lot of the nuance that made the action like feel intense and have stakes kind of got left to the wayside, and a lot of the focus was just on like the fighting, the action, and there were these crumbs of like intriguing things that could have made it better. Like the romance could have really humanized and made us feel more inclined towards the investigators if we had gotten to like see that blossom or see these characters like falling in love, or this one investigator who has this moment of, oh my god, what have I done, because he doesn't want to die. But then it's like it just happens for like a minute and then it's done. But it's like that would have been something that if it was explored over time or introduced a little more slowly and like maybe kept popping up or like really naggled at this character, like it could have been so much more intriguing. And on the ghouls like side of things, we start off following Kaneki, like he is the main character, we follow him, and throughout the course of the first like 6 or 7 volumes, we get introduced to more ghouls, he meets more ghouls. More ghouls start getting like a POV here and there. There's a side character called Tuka who I would have loved to have had more POV from, and I would have loved for her story to actually like continue along the main plot line, because we kind of get this background for her and we get this motivation for why she's like so angry all the time, but that never gets explored. It's like kind of brought up and then they don't really talk about it for a couple of volumes, and then it gets like mentioned for a moment and then it's just like gone again, and it felt so useless. And then there's also this like young girl who's also a ghoul, and like she's an orphan, and her story had like a huge climax, and then she just becomes this side character who like hardly is involved in anything. And like I get it, because for them to follow all of the characters like that we care about, the series would have been a little longer, I think. But I also think that there could have been some things cut out that would have gave room to actually like explore the things that I as a reader cared about. I also am really sad about how Kaneki's storyline ended. I won't like say what happened, but he really starts off as this intriguing character because he's so viscerally convinced that ghouls and humans can coexist, because he is an amalgamation of both. He is a human and he is a ghoul, and he really grapples with like what is right and what is wrong. And then, like I was telling you earlier in a previous clip, he gets to this point where he kind of just like is crazy all of a sudden, and I really would have loved to have seen a more slow descent into madness and like watched him spiral, or like watched his actions like slowly increase in like aggression and stuff, because it's kind of just like it just kind of happens. There's also this mystery because he's trying to figure out, well, like what happened to me? Like I was definitely born a human, like what the fuck? Like how did I become a ghoul? And he's like on this path of solving this mystery, and I think that's supposed to be like what makes him go mad, but we don't get to see enough of the effects it's had on him, like in those quieter moments between fighting. But the mystery too, also like in, I think it's one of the ones I just read, so I think it's 11. We kind of like solve the mystery and then they just never talk about it again. Like there's no like climax to what happens. They figure out like what happened and like who was responsible, and then there's like a big fight, but like they don't catch the person responsible. He has no consequences. Like nothing comes from Kaneki getting answers. He gets answers and nothing happens. He doesn't get revenge. He doesn't get closure. There's no consequences for this person. Like it was pointless. It was all pointless. And I'm so angry about it because I feel like this story honestly could have been better. And I love the idea of it. And I think like 75% of it was like really great. And then 25% of it was just such a letdown. Like these last couple volumes, specifically like 12 and 13, were just so boring. I think 14, like it was like the big conclusion, and like there were definitely a lot of cool fight scenes and like the stakes felt high, so I will like give it credit for that. The stakes felt high, but I didn't like the way it ended. We don't get answers for like 90% of the questions that are raised throughout the course of this manga, and I didn't like the way it ended because we end in the investigator's POV. They're just kind of like, guess we have to keep fighting ghouls, and then it ends. And then you're supposed to go pick up Tokyo Ghoul which is like the spin-off series, but like I don't even know if I want to at this point. I might just watch the anime because I feel like this could translate a lot better on screen because we'll get a lot more dialogue and we'll be able to see those moments of like the slow descent that Kaneki has from this like, you know, really like wholehearted, good-natured person into this like crazy violent creature, you know? Like I think we'll get to see that better in the visual format. So I am actually just gonna watch the anime. I think I'm gonna watch Tokyo Ghoul. I think there's 2 seasons that are based off of the first like Tokyo Ghoul, and then I think there's 3 seasons that are based off of Tokyo Ghoul if I'm understanding correctly. I just looked on Crunchyroll like 2 days ago and I'm pretty sure that's like what I saw. So I think I'm just gonna watch with my husband and watch the sequel series instead of reading Tokyo Ghoul because I don't know if I want to spend that much of my life reading this manga to have such little payoff. I'd rather watch a show with little payoff than spend all the time like invested in the manga without the payoff, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyways, with that being said, I'm glad I finished it. It did have great moments, like I can't lie. The art is really cool. I love how like dark and grotesque some of the fight scenes are, and I loved the overall theme, the overall message. Like I get it, and it did have good moments even though the end was disappointing for me. Again, overall I think I would give the entire series a 3.5 for me personally. A lot of the beginning was like my favorite, and then the middle was okay, and then the end was just kind of eh. Like I didn't hate the end, but I definitely like wanted more to sum things up. But I'm sitting in my empty house, as you can see. Not a damn thing here. Ignore the dirty carpets. They're gross. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, leave the mask emoji. I think there's like a jester mask. Leave the mask emoji down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.